Good morning, Shavua Tov. Having discussed Motzi Matzah last week, and we move on to Marror now. Marror is a rabbinic mitzvah nowadays. The reason being, Gemara explains, Torah tells us that you eat the Korban Pesach al matzot umrorim yocheluhu. You eat the Korban Pesach together with matzah and maror. From this, the Chachamim learned that the mitzvah of maror is dependent on the mitzvah of Korban Pesach. When there is Korban Pesach, then there is a mitzvah to have maror. When there's no longer a Korban Pesach, we don't have a mitzvah from the Torah to have maror. Nonetheless, the Chachamim instituted to have maror as a reminder and remembrance for the times of the Bet HaMikdash and the Korban Pesach. This is unlike matzah. Matzah, as we explained last week, is still a mitzvah from the Torah, even though the Torah says have the Korban Pesach together with matzot umaror. But in a separate verse, the Torah says, Ba'erev tochilu matzot, and from this we learn that the mitzvah of matzah continues even after the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash when we don't have the Korban Pesach, and that's why the mitzvah of matzah is from the Torah, whereas the mitzvah of maror is the Rabbanan. Now, we say a bracha, the Chachamim instituted the bracha on this rabbinic mitzvah, maror. And it's important to understand, and this applies both to the matzah and the maror, is that the bracha which we say on the matzah also goes on the matzah which we're going to eat in korech, in the sandwich, and the bracha which we say on the maror also goes on the maror which we're going to eat in the korech as well. And this is why the Shulchan Aruch rules that once a person has said the brachot of motzi matzah and begins eating the matzah, all the way through until after maror and after korech, until shulchan orech, until the meal, a person is not allowed to speak anything unrelated to the mitzvah of matzah and maror. Often people think once you finish the Haggadah and you begin with motzi matzah, now you can begin to talk as you wish, and not necessarily relevant to the mitzvah in front of you, but that's incorrect. Since the bracha of matzah and the bracha of maror is going also on the matzah and maror in korech, this is why a person is not meant to speak anything unrelated to the mitzvah from once they say the bracha of motzi matzah until they've had matzah, maror, and then the korech, and then from then on, then a person is free to speak as they wish. Now, this doesn't mean a person can't ask to pass the haroset or to pass the matzah, I need more lettuce, I need more maror, etc. All of this, anything relevant to the performance of the mitzvah is all permissible. We're talking about anything unrelated directly to the mitzvah that needs to be curtailed until after you finish the korech. Now, we dip the maror into the haroset being zecher letit, remembrance of the cement and the mortar. There's different minhagim with regards to what the haroset is made from. The Rambam wrote wine and figs and other ingredients with which Eretz Israel is mentioned. The Ramah for the Ashkenazim writes about apples and cinnamon, all different minhagim. The main thing is it's got a form and substance of something which is cement-like, and we dip it into it. Now, the Shulchan Aruch rules that when you dip it in, you're meant to submerge it into the haroset. He says, "V'shake'enu kulo." You're meant to completely submerge the maror into the haroset. The idea being we're submerging ourselves into the haroset, into the shi'ibud, into the servitude. But then he says, in order not to lose the taste of the maror, you're meant to shake it off. So, yes, it's correct what people do, that they dip it in and try to get as much haroset, especially Sfaradi haroset is very tasty. And the maror isn't that bitter. And actually it's a very nice dish to have during the year and during Pesach as well, to have the maror dipped in the haroset. But this is not the right time. You're meant to be clearly tasting the taste of the maror. And so this is why you're meant to dip it in, submerge it, the idea being submerging into the shi'ibud, into the servitude, but then we shake it off, and then we eat it. And finally, since it's a zecher for the maror, and the maror is why mararu et hayehem, our lives were embittered in Egypt, this is why this mitzvah is done without reclining, and a kazait should be eaten, which is about 1 lettuce leaf for this mitzvah, as with all other mitzvot of the night which need to be eaten, it's a kazait.